Hello everyone, this is Dr. Fu from Hofstra University. I'm going to present ZeroAUDIT, a privacy-preserving auditing platform for mutual funds. This is a collaborative work with my students Aman, James, and Hugo, and Professor Rina Hirsch. It is built upon a series of senior design and graduate thesis projects on the topic. As you know, Ponzi schemes have been rampant during the past centuries. A typical sign is that a cheating mutual fund may claim that its financial performance is great, but when people ask, how did you make the profit? The usual response would be, that's our commercial secret. So here is our research question. Let's say that we are going to build an auditing service for mutual funds, but we will not know about any details of its financial information. For example, its portfolios, its cash holdings, or any transactions in its trading history. But still, we want to verify that if the reported financial gain or loss is accurate or not. Now, to address the problem, we present the ZeroAUDIT system. The paper has multiple contributions. First of all, we have developed a zero-knowledge membership proof protocol for Merkle trees. To simply put, given two Peterson commitments for a root node and a leaf node, the protocol can certify that the leaf node is indeed a leaf of the tree, but without disclosing the values of the nodes or the position of the leaf node. Now, based on this protocol, we are able to develop the system. For example, we are able to certify that the price of the stock involved in the trading transaction is indeed a fair market price, but without disclosing the identity of the stock being involved. The system is able to maintain the portfolios for all mutual funds, but without knowing any details, because all business data hide behind Peterson commitments. In addition, the system does not have any dependence on trusted setup, because we made extra efforts in removing such assumptions in the zero-knowledge proof components. We have implemented the system fully over the Hyperledger Fabric framework, and we have implemented a variety of optimization techniques. Now, let's take a look at the architecture of the ZeroAUDIT system. So here we have the funds, and here is the ZeroAUDIT system. It actually serves as both an auditor and a virtual accounting department. For instance, when an investor tries to deposit into a fund, the money is actually wired to ZeroAUDIT, and the fund itself does not have the direct control of the cash. Instead, ZeroAUDIT just updates its internal accounting book, and this accounting book is essentially a collection of ownership certificates. Each certificate is essentially a Merkle tree with leaf nodes encoding the business data. Notice that ZeroAUDIT actually does not generate these certificates. It is the fund who generates certificates and submits zero-knowledge proof to prove their validity. ZeroAUDIT only keeps track of the roots of all the certificates. In this way, it does not know the details of the business data. Now, let's take a look at how trading transactions are registered with ZeroAUDIT. In this case, we need a third-party brokerage for performing the real trading transactions. Let's say Fund A wants to buy 10 shares of stock 1. Apparently, this message cannot be sent in plain text. Instead, Fund A would inform ZeroAUDIT that it wants to make updates of 2 certificates. Apparently, one for its cash and the other for its ownership of stock 1. So this can be accomplished by sending over a message which consists of the two spanning keys for invalidating the old certificates, and the roots for the two new certificates. In addition to that, Fund A will send over an encrypted message which states that buy 10 shares of stock 1, and this message is encrypted using the public key of the brokerage, and ZeroAUDIT does not know about its private key. The third part of the message will be a collection of zero-knowledge proofs. For example, to certify that A has sufficient cash. This is essentially a range proof. For another instance, the spanning keys are correct. This is a Merkle tree membership proof. And the quantities between the Peterson commitments and encryption in part 2 are the same. Once these zero-knowledge proofs are accepted by ZeroAUDIT, the part 2 of the message, that is the encrypted message of the purchasing instruction, will be forwarded to the brokerage, and the brokerage can use her own private key to decipher the message. Now, we still have to certify that the trading transaction is done at the fair market price. Assuming that there is a public Merkle tree encoding the price information for any time step, this problem is eventually reduced to a Merkle tree membership problem. Now, let's first look at a simpler problem. Let's say that we got 3 commitments, and we want to show that these 3 numbers form a parent-child relation in a Merkle tree. As we know, P can be expressed as a hash of its children nodes. But in our case, we use the Peterson commitment as the hash function. Now, the interesting point is that we actually got 2 prime order groups involved, and we call them the chained Schnorr groups. Here, there is a prime number P, which is the modulus for the first group, and it is also the prime order for the second larger group. So in our setting, the commitment of the parent node is defined over the larger group, and the commitments for the 2 children nodes are defined over the smaller group. This setting has been crucial in our construction of the proof. Now, let's see how the chained Schnorr group setting gets into place. We know the formula of the parent node P, and we can write P as a product of the children commitments multiplied with a third randomized component. And here, the exponent D is a secret. So the prover should not disclose D nor its power form. Otherwise, the verifier could use this to compute the parent node P. So instead, the prover could disclose the commitment of the power. And a nice observation is that if we raise this commitment to the power of the product of the 2 children commitments, and this commitment actually hides the same number as P. To see this, if we extract the left-hand side, you can see that the exponent part is exactly the same formula defined for P. Now, the last piece is to show that the prover really knows this secret exponent D, and this is a double discrete logarithm problem, and there is a well-known zero-knowledge proof for it. Now, to build the complete Merkle tree membership proof, we actually need more constructions. For instance, we need a disjunctive zero-knowledge proof so that we can hide the commitment between 2 children nodes. And for another instance, at this moment, the commitments of the parent and children are defined over 2 different groups, and we need to consolidate them. Traditionally, this problem is handled by chaining with another commitment on a group with an unknown order. But unfortunately, this approach would need trusted setup. So to overcome this, in our protocol, we use the range proof to confine certain values so that we can avoid modular arithmetic. However, in practice, even the fastest range proofs, such as bullet range proofs, could still be very costly for handling large ranges, such as 2 to the power of 1800. So in practice, we ended up with using inaccurate range proofs, and we have to fix the particles. We have implemented the system fully over the Hyperledger Fabric framework. The system has a library of zero-knowledge proofs, and the ZeroAUDIT auditor itself is implemented as a collection of smart contracts. The system scales well, and it grows logarithmically with the size of anonymity set. Compared with the state of the art, our system is more expensive than ZeroCoin and ZeroCash. Apparently, we paid extra cost for removing the trusted setup. But compared with similar systems such as Monero, we have better asymptotic verification complexity. In practice, our proof size is still huge. This is caused by the double discrete logarithm proof, which we have no efficient aggregation algorithm so far, and it needs improvement. So in summary, we have fully implemented a zero-knowledge system for validating trading transactions. The system is built upon an anonymous Merkle tree membership protocol, which does not need trusted setup. It has also simple assumptions and logarithmic proof size and verification time. We don't have time to cover the variety of batch verification techniques in this presentation, but we leave the details to the paper. Any questions?